Hello guys, welcome to a new video on Tower of God New World, and in this video I'm going to talk about the dev notes number 14 that was released today. There are not too many points, but some of them are really important. And yeah, let's just get started immediately. I want to get it over as soon as possible. I don't want this video to last too long, so I'll try my best. And the first point is improvement request for ignition weapons. Now this is a really important point, and I sent, I don't even remember how many tickets to them to ask them to create a system that will let you automatically swap the ignition weapon. My idea and what I try to convey in my tickets is that I want in the character menu to just say, okay, for this character, the default preset is, let's say, Runda 1 or L Magic Pierce or whatever. That's the default preset for that unit. And in my mind, if in a multi-stage battle that we can see also here on the screen, for example, let's say Viol has the default L Magic Pierce, and then in Team 2 we have an Hiwa with the default, with the same default preset. And in the first fight, Viol is going to have that set. The fight is over. It's now Team 2 turn, and Hiwa doesn't have anyone else in the other 4 units in that team don't have L Magic Pierce as the default, so she's automatically getting it. That was my idea, so that you don't have to swap stuff. If there is no conflict, it's automatically assigned to the default preset that you give to that specific unit. That was what I had in mind. What they are planning to implement, from my point of view, is not even half right. Is like 1/4 right, kind of. It really makes little sense, especially because they don't know how they're going to manage overlapping of ignition weapon pieces. Because what they have in mind, it seems to be that in the preset menu, you can just, for each preset, define which is the default user of that preset. And then you have a button you can click, and all those presets will be automatically equipped on those units. But what's going to happen if there is overlapping in this case? Because, for example, let's say blank 4-piece is also used by Ren 4-piece. So we have 2 units that use the same piece in 2 different presets. When I click the button, what's going to happen? Is it going to be equipped in a order that we see them? So first it will equip the stuff on blank, then it's Ren turn, so Ren is getting the 4-piece and she's losing it. I don't know. I have no idea how they plan to handle this. So this kind of solution, from my point of view, kind of sucks. Especially you have to click for it to happen, so it cannot happen dynamically while you are in the fight. You still have to go outside of it. And it doesn't help in swapping for adventure. All this helps with is just PvP, and not even all PvP modes, only high rank arena. Because let's say you create the presets for your PvP units, you create a preset each, then you define, okay, for this unit I will give this set, etc, etc, etc. And at the end of the day, you just click the button and all those units will get those sets. That's the only use case I see for this system that they're planning to implement. I see no advantages for adventure or the, let's say, more real-time PvP, which is where you have to actually defend like Tower of Alliances or Hell Train Arena. So I don't know. I don't really like this system that much, and I don't know if I was clear enough in my explanation here. But what they're planning to implement doesn't make a lot of sense. If they wanted to address the PvP part of it, they could just say when you hit save in your formation, it also snapshots the ignition weapons equipped on the units. That would have been enough. Then obviously, I think in one of probably one of the first dev notes when they introduced the ignition weapons, they also mentioned this fact that what happens if we snapshot stuff and then you delete items, blah 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 blah. Whatever, just leave them snapshotted. If I make any changes to my ignition weapons, it's my responsibility then to go over the PvP section, or rearrange the stuff and re-click save. I don't see a really big deal, even if they have an item you don't have anymore because you fed that item to something else. I have no idea. So I don't really see too many problems in that. So just let us do that. I don't really see any issues, but whatever. So again, this system could have been a lot better. I will try to send them a ticket again to try and re-explain my idea and how they could change it and what I think are like the shortcomings of this system. Because from my point of view, this is really not that helpful. And let me know like in the comments down below what you think, but this really doesn't seem right from my point of view. Then here below, they just mentioned two more things. The first one is that they are going to boost the acquisition rate for A rank weapon, and we're going to see down below for which ones, because there is a dedicated topic for this, so it's okay. Then the other part is going to be, well, an improvement to the fusion system, but the way it's translated is probably wrong, but I will try to explain what I think this is. Basically, they mentioned in some of the previous dev notes that they are planning to implement a system that will let us pick and choose the substats and also the main stats for some pieces. And they seem to be adding this system to the fusion process. We cannot really change existing pieces, which I'm okay with. I think it makes sense. So when you fuse the pieces, you can then kind of select which kind of option you want. Here, the way they translated is this feature will let you set desired options. Not sure if it's only the substats or the main stats as well. And use material weapons, okay, to automatically adjust the 3 essence. Like here, they kind of did something wrong. It's probably substats instead of 3 essence, enabling continuous attempts. So what is going to kind of happen is that you can create a piece. Probably you can select the main stat, I'm not sure, but what's going to happen is that you just like destroy 3 A rank pieces to get a piece you want, and you can also say, okay, I want, I don't know, physical resistance or magic resistance substats, and the piece should roll with those 2 substats. Whether it's a high roll or a low roll, doesn't matter. If it's 3 or 4 substats, you probably cannot control that. And I don't think they will let us pick more than 2 substats out of 4. So that's what I think will happen, but I'm not sure. I mean, it's really worded not that well, so I cannot tell more than this. But we'll see. Anyway, for this first point, I appreciate the intention behind it, but I think it won't really be that useful. We'll see. Then we have the second point, difficulty of adventure stages and update frequency. They just said that they are committed to releasing 5 new floors every 2 weeks. And they also are planning to implement a feature called stage jump that we're going to talk about later on because there is a dedicated section for it. And what else? They added 5 teams now after floor 100, which fortunately I'm still quite far away from. I'm only on floor 95 now, but we'll see. And yeah, that's pretty much it. For point 3, feedback on Train Arena, I think they did a good job improving it. Now that you have to win 4 out of 5 battles is way better from my point of view. And yeah, they are just collecting feedback, whatever. I think this Train season was a lot better. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Feedback on Tower of Alliances. And also this one, there were people complaining about ignition weapons on the enemies, revolution stats that were like making some kind of floors too difficult, but that's kind of the idea. So I don't see really the reason for complaining. But then they mentioned a good feature that they're planning to probably implement. It was sort of a ban system. So you can say, okay, in this stage you cannot use this unit, but you cannot use it yourself too. So that's kind of the point. I have to check where it was written, because I'm pretty sure I read it. We believe in incorporating sort of additional buff. No. Okay, it was here. For now, excluding a specific teammate from streams of flow stats for each floor could be an interesting gameplay element. Now, I don't know if this was a translation, like this is not a ban. Maybe it's like saying, okay, for this unit, the streams of flow is not applying. I don't know, guys. Weird. We'll see, I guess. I don't know. But I think this event makes sense that not everyone can clear all 100 floors, because otherwise, what's the point? Like, it's always going to be a draw or the win for the team that has more members. So, I don't know. From my point of view, it's kind of fine as it is. I don't really see too many issues with that. Then we have feedback on additional game modes. And for this one, there are some good points, so we can read this through. We have the first part. They're going to, like, they received feedback to add more content without Shinsu link adjustment, or just more alliance cooperative content, or separate climbing event and family system. This one is probably themselves that they added it. Nobody probably asked it, but okay, whatever. And they said they're preparing a new climbing content called Traumerei, similar to the stage race, but it's going to be a whole separate tower from the adventure one, which is okay. We'll see how they plan to implement it. Then they address one point that I mentioned in one of my previous videos, and that is what happens after floor 134, which is the max that we can get, that we know from the webtoon, because that's where Zahard has stopped his climb. So what's happening after that, we don't know. And here, the way they decided to approach it is that they are aware of it, at least. Thanks God. It's not like we're going to get floor 135 right off the bat. So they are going to do some kind of, they are going to seal floor 135, and they're going to have some strategies to unlock it. We'll see what that means. It's not too far away, to be honest. It's like a couple of months away at this point, if they keep on releasing content as they are, probably 3 months. So we'll see what they plan on doing. Could be interesting. I just hope they're not really going to release that many floor afterwards. Maybe they could send you back to floor 1 and increase the difficulty. I have no idea. But just for the story, I don't think we should go on floor 135, because that's like untouched territory. So we don't know exactly what's gonna happen, and it's kind of weird, but we'll see. And then they're also preparing additional alliance comparative content. We'll see what that also implies. And by the end of the year, they're also going to release the family growth system and Call of the Family, however they want to call it. We don't know what's going to happen, if it's only for family hats that we're going to see later on. Small spoiler, but yeah, we'll see. And they're also developing an additional PvP mode without Shinsu link adjustments. Whatever, cool. They're balancing out bosses, and I'm sure you already noticed. Just weird stuff, but I'm not that into bossing, so whatever. We'll just see what happens, and then we'll just fine-tune the teams accordingly. I don't know. Then we'll see. They also have, now we have a restriction on clearing origin trials, like 10 floors per day, and then on the weekends 10 floors for every single element in both days. So it's like 30 a week per each element, and they're trying to increase this amount. I don't think it makes sense in the later stages, but maybe if they just remove the limit for the first 200 or 300, that would already be enough, probably. I don't really see a reason to just extend to 20 floors, to double the amount. I don't think it makes a lot of sense, especially later on, because we would just run out of floors way too quickly. And we're also going to get a lot of tickets immediately. And I don't know. I don't think it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't even make that much of a difference if they're not releasing more floors. So they should just remove the limiter for the first 200, 250, 300 floors, that would be enough, but whatever. Feedback on auto progress, not much, just people asking to get it earlier, but it's not gonna happen. It's already 4:36, so pretty early already. What else? Like, to not have it stop, doesn't really matter, we can just keep. Operation of special summon, and they received positive feedback on this kind of banner, so they made it available with Garam and probably with all future ones as well. So we'll see what's going to happen, and it also seems that all the units are going to receive this special summon banner in turn. Again, the translation is probably not that great, is worse than usual, so that's weird. These pickup summons, I have no idea what that is, but yeah, I guess they are going to re-add old units in special banners, as we kind of guessed as well. But we'll see when we get to the later parts of the dev notes in terms of who to prioritize and whether you should save or not for those units. I'm going to try and talk a bit about that as well, but for now let's just move on to the next points. They also talked about having the possibility of checking the revolution before having the unit. They already implemented it, so that's fine. And they also will let you, they will show your revolution mats directly from the revolution screen without having to click on the actual subnode or the main node if you wanted to see the quantity of green and orange mats you had. Just a small quality of life, nothing much. And then they also wanted to, like, they will kind of try to add the wallpaper for the skins directly in game. Okay, fine, whatever, I don't care. Then we have practice battles for Alliance Expedition boss battles, because a lot of people asked for a way to test the results without having to like stop the game, go out, try again, stop at like 1 second, go out again, just to have some trial runs that you can do some tests on. And they said that they are kind of planning to introduce this kind of practice mode, which is good. They always said that, still not implemented, but we'll see. And then whatever, they just added some stuff in the Alliance store, not much. I hoped for a bigger overall, but it's okay. And then they added already an announcement to the new and returning regular events, all the stuff that we got for free in one of the previous patches, and that's about it for this point, nothing much. Now we can go over the features that are going to be implemented in September, so that's probably the core part of the video. And the first part is the stage jump feature, and as already mentioned before, they're going to implement this feature on the update that we will have on September 11, so pretty soon. And they're going to give you a way to skip adventure stages. The way it looks is that if you have enough combat power, which, what is that? Because we are pushing deficits. We are not going to have a combat power close to the enemy. Like in my case, I think around 260, 280 deficit equals to 100 times more combat power on the enemies, maybe a bit more than that, I don't remember. So how can you say when my combat power is enough for that specific like floor or whatever? It's tricky. Probably is only early on, but even early on you cannot really outpace the way that the enemies grow. So I don't know when this feature could be helpful, but theoretically you should kind of understand which kind of floor you could do well in, propose some of the 4 stages. So in this example, to 4, to 8, to 12, to 16, you can challenge that stage directly, and if you beat it, you will get there. That's a good idea, but if the way they kind of define these possibilities is based on combat power, then that makes no sense. If they just let you, at least by default, challenge the next 2 floors, that would be awesome. Or like the next floor or whatever. That would be awesome already. So you can say, okay, instead of challenging I don't know, all these 60 stages, I can just say, okay, let me challenge the last stage of next floor. You clear it, good. Then you say, okay, let me just challenge the last stage of the next floor. At that point, like the thing with this system is that then you only need to use your buff a limited amount of times, like 1 time per floor, probably, I don't know, or like your supports, etc. Climbing would be way too easy this way, from my point of view. But I don't know, guys. We'll see what they do and how they implement it. Maybe this is also going to be restricted only up to a certain floor. I literally have no idea. So we'll see. And the next part is going to be new units that are going to be released in September. And we're going to get Kun Asensio SSR Plus. Why in the world is Kun Asensio SSR Plus? Like, this guy is one of the most, like, not irrelevant, but almost like he did nothing, literally nothing. What, like, I could see him SSR, and I would have been excited for him to be SSR, but SSR Plus? And on top of that is going to be a warrior. So close range unit and warrior, which has the worst kind of stats possible. I don't know, guys. And he's also going to be a yellow warrior SSR plus. From my point of view, this guy is already a skip. More so of like because of the reasons that we're going to see a bit more down the line, but this guy, from my point of view, kind of sucks, especially released this way. But okay, like we already can tell that this guy is going to deal physical damage because it has something that reduces physical resistance on the enemies, which for yellow is kind of weird. The only physical damage dealer are like Data Urek, if we can call him damage dealer, whatever, and Compress Rack. Could be a good option, maybe, who knows, I don't know. I don't think this was a really good release, to be honest. And you can probably just easily skip him, no problem. He's going to increase his own resistances, create a barrier that blocks projectiles. Doesn't say if it's only for himself or for the whole team. And whatever, he's talking about survivability and tanking. Well-rounded. And he mentioned 2 things that only tanks do. I don't know. Should be kind of a tankish unit. I don't know, guys. I don't really think this is a good kind of unit to invest in. His design looks cool, and this unit would be cool normally, but I don't know. We'll see, guys. He's probably a skip, but we'll talk about why later down these dev notes. Next unit is going to be the SSR Reflejo. This guy is going to be pretty cool, but again, Purple Warrior, not the great substats. For SSR is not that relevant because they would get small benefits anyway, and if the ability upgrades are good enough, then that's enough for him to be actually usable. It seems to be a debuffer that is going to decrease the enemy physical and magic resistance, and is also going to have some good crowd controls and reduce the enemy evasion. Reducing enemy evasion right now in this current meta is not as important, but there are some units like Shiliel or Zahard that can get crazy high evasion, and this guy could be helpful in those scenarios, but doesn't really matter. Those are not really troublesome units, so it's okay-ish. And his special move is also, again, as I said before, a crowd control. This seems to be a knock cap. And that's pretty much it, guys. I don't know. This guy could be interesting, but I wouldn't really overinvest in him. We'll see. I will still pull for him, obviously, and the same applies to Kun Asensio. I will still pull them to like Rainbow 5 and stuff. I will test them out. But I don't think most people should pull for these kind of units. But again, we'll see later on. Then we have the Fall Festival return and 2 new costumes, one for Data Machini and the other one for the new unit Kun Asensio. Pretty cool. And we're also getting the story with Kun Asensio, his father, blah, 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 blah. pretty cool. Usual stuff, nothing really too insane, but definitely good to new units for the September 11 update. Then we have new ignition weapons. This is pretty important, and the way they kind of designed it, I said in my Discord server that I would like to see a like ignition weapon set for special move users and skill users mainly, and that was the ignition weapon I wanted to see the most. Here it seems like the first one, Rafflesia, I have no idea how to pronounce that, is going to be a good help for teammates that have powerful special moves but are vulnerable to status effects. So to me, this is kind of scary. Like, it's not something I wanted to see. I don't want to enhance survivability on those kind of units with the ignition weapon probably. If they have a powerful special move, I want to improve the damage so that I can push higher deficits. The fact that they explicitly said but are vulnerable to status effects kinda scares me. I think they will get something like immunity to status effects after the special move cast or something like that. I don't know, this doesn't sound promising. But if it's just them saying some random stuff, but the actual effect is going to be a damage amplifier, and maybe in the 2-piece they get effect resistance or stuff like that, then that's awesome. But I don't know. We will have to see. Then for the second one, Alocasia, I don't know, is intended for evasion type physical warriors or tanks. Zahard. So probably they just created a set for Zahard. Here they said warriors and tanks. We have a mage that would also use some sort of evasion, like for example, Shiliel. We also have an assassin like Quant, and Edin is an assassin, right? And also Edin Dan. So I don't know why they specified here warrior tanks while we have other evasion based units that are not warrior and tanks. The only warrior is Zahard. So I don't know, we'll see. They also specified physical, not magical. So maybe there is the first set that will have as a 2-piece 15% physical pierce. We'll see, I don't know. And then the 4-piece might be evasion based. We'll see. This is definitely good. Could be really great sets. We have no idea though. And then we have the a new event, let's say, that they are added here, well, or that they are planning to add, that seems to be a better way to acquire a rank ignition weapon for this new secret floor specifically. So it should make it easier to build new sets, which would make a lot of sense. So if you have keys, remember to save them, because we're going to get 2 new sets really soon, and it seems like the rates are going to be boosted, which is a good way to just build all sets, because if we get more A rank pieces, we can also get more like materials to feed into old pieces, or just in general, they might be really good sets that you would still want to build anyway. And we'll see. Then we have the last point, I think, and that is family event character appear, family head. So we have the tag family head and not great family like Irang, because Irang was the flashback version, not the current family head version. So we have the first family head to appear in the game, Lopobia Traumerei. This is going to be pretty massive. And here they also showing banners, etc. I don't know. Probably this is going to be related to the Call of the Family content that we will see later on in this year. And here they just mentioned again what I just said about Irangion. What else? They wanted to make those kind of units really busted, and in a lot of points here they kind of remark the fact that they are different from the existing SSR and SSR Plus grades. Seems to be a new rarity. Probably UR or SSR++, or just SSR+ with a distinctive, I don't know, additional stats or whatever. I don't know. We'll see, I guess, really soon, because it's going to be in September, guys. So we'll see. And what else? They also said that they are going to introduce this kind of higher rarity units less frequently. So probably once every 2-3 months, I think, kind of guess. So we'll see what's going to happen for that. And they said 10 family level characters, not 10 family heads, and that's it. So units like Urek could fall in this kind of category. I don't think Lose-like could be considered at their level, or any of the high rankers for that matter. Probably just Urek and the other irregulars that I'm not going to spoil here. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. And probably is also going to be maybe once every 6 months, or they're going to run out of them pretty quickly. But we'll see. And here they just share some pictures from the manhwa of the Traumerei that we're getting. If you're reading the manhwa, you already know him. Pretty cool version. And we'll see what they're planning to do with this kit. And this guy is known as the strongest anima in the tower, and he has a desire to dominate. Pretty interesting. The quote here is also pretty cool. Death is simpler than domination. To me, death is a gift to those who have lost even the value of being dominated. This guy is super hype. Now, I don't know if they're really going to do him justice. I hope so. I really want these kind of units to be busted. This guy basically needs to be a free win. I just need to put him, no matter the deficit, I just need to put him in the team, click play, and this is an insta win. Now, that would be an issue when Traumerei is in the opposing team, but these guys need to be cracked. If this guy is weaker than Kaiser, that's going to be a problem. But like a major problem, because they explicitly said they wanted to make them like way better, like overwhelmingly better than the others. So if he's weaker than Kaiser, guys, this is a major issue for this game. But we'll see. We'll see. Then probably the next one we're going to see in the game, no big spoiler, is going to be Gustang, the family head version. But we'll see. Now, what they kind of also mentioned here, that is primary summon beings. So primary, meaning there could be more than these, but seems to be Kraken and Cobalt. So the frog and the Kraken. Could be interesting. The thing is a bit disappointing that we're going to see in a second, but interesting. Like the current family head has so many like ways to kill his opponents. I don't know if they plan to just have the summoning portion of his kit and then maybe release a next future version with more powers. I have no idea if they plan to add all the elements already. That's going to be a pretty massive unit. But I don't know, we'll see. Then here they just mentioned they're going to prepare it with great care, blah, blah, blah. We don't really care. Then we have a sneak peek at Traumerei. And not much else to say, but this thing we're going to see in a second is going to be pretty relevant. So we have a new background. This is going to be the new rarity, most likely. We have him as a green. Well, green was pretty much obvious, but support. Green support. I don't really get why you would make him a support and not a mage. Even a tank would have been better if you just rely on the summons, but support? I mean, I guess compared to the other of the 10 families, etc., he's probably the one with the lowest DPS. But support really doesn't feel right. At least he has attack scaling from the subnodes, but I don't know. Unless for this rarity they change the subnodes in Revolution, if they keep the same, this is a bit disappointing. but it's okay, I guess. They can just make his kit so stacked that you don't even care about investing in the revolution. We'll see, guys. This is not promising, but I mean, it's Traumerei. They said they are going to make him busted, so let's hope that's the case. And here we have some more images. This guy looks so badass, and he is, even though he's kind of an idiot, but okay, whatever. And we have some really cool animation in here. Really, really amazing. And it's going to be released end of September. Pretty insane. So super, super close, which is really weird, I would say, because we don't really have a lot of time to save. Like they just said, okay, end of the month, we're going to get this guy. Okay, so you're basically telling all free-to-play players to skip Asensio, which would make sense to make him as an SSR plus if you plan on not having anyone dupe him up, because he's not that hyped of a character that would deserve the SSR plus banner. So they kind of put him there as a skip from my point of view, and you really want to invest your resources in this guy. Now, they also mentioned that they're going to prepare a special summon for the 10 family, which is going to be different from the usual one. And they're working on a family head celebration non-stop SSR plus special summon. So this is going to be an additional banner where you cannot pick Traumerei. It's probably going to be like the anniversary non-stop SSR plus special summon, which will also include Kaiser, it seems, from what they said here. So I don't know if they're going to add anniversary Iwa in this non-stop SSR plus, then that's awesome, because you can just max her out and get her Revolution 5, which is massive. If she's not included, that's a bit of a bummer, because Kaiser, most people are investing in her and probably already have her at high investment or Rainbow 5 already. So I don't know. I will make obviously a video talking about which kind of unit to pick again, blah blah blah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how useful that's going to be. Definitely useful for sure, but okay, whatever. I'm really looking forward to which kind of summon and rates we're going to get for the like for Traumerei, because if he's an higher rarity than SSR plus, probably we're going to have a different PT or a different base percentage. I have no idea. We also have to remember that in November we will have a collab with 4 units, and if we dump all the resources on this guy, we might not have enough for the collab. And also in October is highly likely that we're getting white, because it's October again, so it's kind of a month where we have the Halloween event, and white would be thematically appropriate. But no idea, we'll see. So a lot of other cool units. Traumerei is kind of in the middle, and it's really there to just have you spend your resources so that you then have to spend real money to get the new units, kind of thing, I feel. But they have to make him busted. I said the same thing for Yang, and she's a good unit, but she doesn't have those like busted vibes. This guy needs to be busted. Like all family heads, they need to be broken. If they're not, as I said, if they're weaker than Kaiser, that's a problem. Obviously, he's going to be weaker than Kaiser in bossing. That's obvious. But in adventure, this guy needs to be a fucking one-man army that destroys all enemies no matter what. So much, like, he needs to deal more damage than Kaiser, tank more than the best tank we have in the game, heal more than the best healer we have in the game. He needs to do everything. This guy needs to be a fucking monster. But we'll see. I don't know, guys. I'm probably just exaggerating. Then we have a new kind of content, Labyrinth of Memories. It's going to be like a sort of, give me, what's the name of that game? The one with the plant versus zombie kind of vibes. You have different stages and you complete them, blah, 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 blah. I don't know why I mentioned that. But there is going to be a story behind every one of these points, and you can just clear them. You have a kind of thread connecting them that is going to limit how many you can clear. It's kind of a stamina system. We'll see. I have no idea how this is going to work. nor why we have a spectral unicorn there as a sort of a boss stage. I don't know. We'll see, guys. I'm always looking forward, obviously, for more content, so definitely excited for this as well, and also looking forward to the kind of rewards that they're going to give us. But for sure, the highlight of this month is going to be Traumerei, 100%, and also the possibility of having a new rarity, which could be a good thing if they only keep it for strictly the really broken units, and if they give us a way to obtain them. I don't even know if the special summon banner for these kind of units is going to be time limited, so you cannot get them anymore unless there is a rerun. I have no idea how they plan to actually implement this. If it's going to be time limited, probably massively investing in him would be the better choice. If they're going to add him to the black market or whatever other banner they're planning to implement, then that's a different thing. We'll see, guys. Unfortunately, we only have more questions after these dev notes. We don't have a lot of answers. So we'll see. Definitely really cool month. There are not many things as we saw, but there are some really relevant changes for the future. And this Lopobia Traumerei is definitely the most important part of this whole month. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm sorry I ended up making this video long anyway. I always talk way too much, but if you made it this up to this point, thank you so much for the support. And yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you like the video, drop a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.